up next, we have Kevin and Nick from Momentum joining us here today from California. Come on up, guys. You flew in from California, did you not?
Thanks.
You got a mic there.
Okay. It's this big green one. Hey, everyone. I'm Nick Fitz, one of our founders and CEO. And this is Kevin, our Chief Strategy Officer and sort of all-around do-it-all. We spun Momentum out of a research program on the psychology of giving that I used to run with Dan Ariely at Duke at a place called the Center for Advanced Hindsight. It is, in fact, called the Center for Advanced Hindsight. Brantley also spun out of there. It was one of our incubatees. Next slide. And then a couple of years ago, we moved out to the Bay and raised something like $4.3 million from some strategic folks like Eric Ries and Mark Cuban, some other philanthropists, and then some venture funds like BetaWorks and On Deck and Ulu. Next one. Along the way, we built some viral infrastructure that powered some donation campaigns like Defeat by Tweet. This example was every time Trump tweeted, people gave to a group of Black-led orgs working on voter turnout. In short, we acquired about 40,000 donors and moved them about 15 million. Over the last half year or so, we did a bunch of deep product work thinking about what we want to build next. And in the last couple of months, we launched an MVP, and it's gone much better than we anticipated. So we went from nobody on it to about 25 folks. And Kevin will give you an overview of exactly what we're building.
So for the past 6 months, we've been interviewing a lot of directors of development and executive directors of nonprofits that have over $1 million in contributions, from folks like the March of Dimes to PETA to Ohio State University, many, many more. And we asked them, what do you wish existed in the space? What are you most frustrated with right now? And some very interesting things came out of that, but one theme that struck out to us was folks said, my CRM feels like it's built to store data. And I often have to go hunting as if I'm trying to find water in the desert or trying to find a clearing in the jungle to find what I'm actually looking for. And fundamentally, fundraisers are out to build relationships. They don't actually want to spend that much time in their CRM. And we walked away from many different conversations with folks saying this in various ways or another, and decided to build a brain for any CRM to sit on top of your CRM and help facilitate those interactions that you're looking to do with your donors, help surface next steps that would be the next best steps for your donors without you having to hunt through the jungle. And that's been going very, very well. And we've got a few different workflows that we're working with people right now, from surfacing mid-level donors to next steps for major gift prospects to live months reports, more exporting 2 different queries to Excel and then running VLOOKUPs and then going back into whatever your CRM is to try to figure out if this person fits a criteria where you shouldn't actually reach out to them at this point in time, which is what most folks are doing right now. Now we can streamline that process. And here's an example with thank you notes. So let's say you have Jane and she comes in and donates. And when Jane donates, you have to, for compliance reasons, send some tax receipts, et cetera, but you want to thank her in a special way that makes her feel special. And if Jane hits a few different pieces of criteria, you might want to have someone on your board or a major gift person reach out to Jane. But oftentimes this process is happening manually. And so thank yous don't go out until a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks later. And a lot of research has shown that if you don't send a thank you within the first 48 hours, retention of that donor actually goes down. So when Jane comes in, we check and see if Jane qualifies for any of the reasons that you might want to have someone on your team follow up with her in a more personalized way than what's automated. We send a note out to that exact team member. We have a dashboard where everyone on the team can see the different stewardship next steps from their stewardship plan all laid out. And then when you click on that reminder, that email, you see Jane's profile, and you also have a pre-written draft for email or for a letter that's bringing in information from the CRM using GPT-3 to have a very tailored message for Jane in this moment. And in fundraising, I'm sure you guys have talked with many directors of development, they do not want you to automatically send a lot of messages to folks. They want to review every single one. And they want to have the exact pieces of their CRM data up beside it that relate to this workflow to make sure that they're not sending something that shouldn't go out to somebody in that moment. And so that's a thank you note example where we're decreasing friction and taking something that was a very complicated process for a lot of nonprofits and making it a little bit simpler, a little bit easier, a way for them to have a higher touch experience with a lot of their donors. Now, we've been doing this for a few different workflows. We did about 4 months of research, and 2 months ago, we launched a beta program. 22 folks have signed up so far for this new product, which is really, really exciting. It's a lot more than we expected. Of those, every single one has more than $1 million in contributions, all the way up to 40 for our largest. Average deal size is around 6K ARR, which is pretty exciting because we're not pushing on that number right now. We think it could go a lot higher as the product becomes more fleshed out. And interestingly, on Blackbaud calls, we're closing 24% of folks, which is a lot higher than other CRMs. And we don't know exactly why that is yet, but that suggests to us that there's something about people who use Blackbaud or people's current experience with Blackbaud that makes them want to use us. So where will fundraising evolve next? We imagine a world where in behavioral science, there's a core concept of push versus pull. If you want folks to do something, to take an action, the easier you make it to take that action, the more likely someone is to take it. And right now, our experience with our CRMs is oftentimes push. You have to look up that query every month, or you need someone on your team to do that. They then need to go clean that data. You need to export it in 2 different places. And then you need to go back into the CRM for each individual person to do this workflow that you know would actually make your donors feel very special. We imagine a world where that information pulls to you, where everything you need comes to you in a workflow that's very seamless for that piece of your fundraising journey. We're Momentum, very excited to answer your questions and to be here today. Thank you all very much.